World-class Arizona, we always think of as being made up of world-class people who work in and operate world-class companies, like Avnet. Teri Radosevich here, Vice President of Community Relations and Public Affairs,
Indeed.
and our guest.
Yes,
to
thanks
tell
for
us
having me.
to tell us once again, remind everybody about the world's best kept industrial secret in Arizona, Avnet.
Avnet, yes, we're on the Fortune 500 list, and we're actually on the Global 500 list as well. And so we're a large, high-tech company with our headquarters here in the Phoenix metropolitan area.
And by high tech, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily in direct competition with Apple.
Oh, no. Apple would be more along the lines of a supplier of ours than a competitor of ours.
Well, do compare yourself then with others in the business.
Well, of course, there's no one like us. There's other manufacturing companies that do distribution, and so some of the other high-tech distribution companies, that mostly world leaders in distribution, so there's probably not a lot of names that people would recognize.
But they're all in the bottom 7.
Of course. May we?
For Avnet to have the kind of impact that you have, in fact, we recently were talking about so far in this fiscal year, which isn't up until when?
Our fiscal year ends on June 30th.
$25.7 billion in revenue.
Yes, indeed.
You're doing okay. Looks like you have a position for a while.
I
Teri.
sure hope so, because Avnet sure likes being in this community.
Well, and in being in the community, you have to be a good neighbor. How do you do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Corporate citizenship is very important to Avnet from the very top all the way throughout the company. We've got executive leadership that really believes in our community outreach program. And so we have really a three-pronged approach to doing community relations. We look at children's issues, we look at education, and we look at technology. And we send our employees into the community to do volunteer work. We do drives and collections. We sponsor events from hands-on Greater Phoenix to our signature event, which is called the Avnet Tech Games. We do
tell
every
me.
year.
Listen, I'm a big sports fan. I want to know about the Tech Games. Oh, does this mean that once again I get beat playing video games by the 4-year-old?
Well, I'm sure you'll probably get beat, but not playing video games, because the tech games are very sophisticated, high-tech related. Teams of college students compete against each other in 8 different competitive events that all have to do with technology. So anything from engineering related to IT, computer science, and also sustainability/green environmental competitions as well.
Yeah, some of the kids in the Valley are very, very successful internationally with
Yes.
robotics.
Oh yes, absolutely. And we have 8 different competitive events that the students get to compete in, and one of them is a robotics competition. And it's really interesting because the way we've designed the tech games and the competitive events that comprise it is so that we take what the students are learning in school, but we push that envelope a little bit, and we make sure that we're going beyond classroom learning, that we're giving them the skills, the practice, the exposure, the awareness that they need to become qualified employees to go into high-tech fields. So we feel like while the Tech Games is benefiting students, because we've given out over $225,000 in scholarships,
Wow.
the real benefit is that we're creating a more qualified workforce for the Valley of the Sun to draw from, and then we're also giving these students a leg up on their competition so that they will stand out from the crowd and be able to get jobs. So the scholarships end up being kind of ancillary to all these other fabulous benefits.
Do you hear those voices, by the way? Hear the voices out in the parking lot and around the state saying, me, how can I participate?
Absolutely.
How do I get involved with that?
We would love to have more students and faculty learn about the Avnet Tech Games. They can go to www.avnettechgames.com. There are some competitive events that are still open, so we would really encourage folks to get signed up as soon as possible. The Avnet Tech Games are on Saturday, April 13th. And so we want as many students as we can from universities, from community colleges, from technical schools. Every school in Arizona of higher education should be involved in the Avnet Tech Games.
Oh, if only I had not left the pen and paper on my desk, I would have been able to remember that website. You might want to repeat that again.
Would love to. avnettechgames.com. And go to the website and look under competitive events, and you can see all of the different events available that students can participate in. And the really cool thing about it is not only can students from Arizona compete in it, but we've opened up the tech games now to any student in the United States can compete in our virtual games competition.
Wow. See,
Two
and
versions.
There could be a scholarship in your family's future. And somewhere on the paper, right, you have the word Avnet. And that's one of the words and one of the organizations that makes this world-class Arizona.